Dear brothers and sisters, December is not an ordinary month. It's a time marked by two dates that heaven honors with deep solemnity. December 8th, we celebrate the Immaculate Conception of the Virgin Mary, a day when our mother's purity shines with special strength over those who call upon her. And December 25th, we remember the birth of Jesus, the most sacred celebration of the entire month and one of the greatest in all of our faith. It's the day when light entered the world, the day God became a child to bring hope, salvation, and spiritual victory. These two dates aren't just celebrations. They're doorways of grace, moments when God pours extraordinary blessings upon homes that are prepared. That's why we Catholics need to pay attention to special days again. We need to remember that every liturgical season carries spiritual weight, that every sacred date brings unique power from heaven. For centuries, the saints, the monks, the old families knew exactly how to live these times. They had simple gestures, yet incredibly powerful ones, that protected their homes, illuminated their souls, and kept away every influence of evil. But over time, so much of that was lost. Today we live rushed, distracted, disconnected from what strengthens the soul. Padre Pio deeply lamented this loss. He used to say that when God's people forget the practices that protected their ancestors, homes become more fragile and restless. That's why he insisted on something almost nobody remembers today. The way we use holy water in December can completely change the spiritual atmosphere of our homes. December isn't just any month. It's a month of light and battle. A month when heaven draws especially close, but also when shadows try to disturb those who are spiritually asleep. That's precisely why Padre Pio taught 3 ways to use holy water throughout December that shield your home and bring profound inner peace. If you believe in Padre Pio's wisdom, write in the comments, Padre Pio, protect my home this December. Most people think December is just about Christmas trees, presents, and family dinners. And sure, those things are beautiful. But what we've forgotten is that December is also a month of intense spiritual battle. It's when heaven opens its gates wider, yes, but it's also when darkness works harder to steal our peace, to disturb our homes, to drain the joy that should be ours. Padre Pio knew this truth deeply. He watched as generations slowly let go of the practices that had kept their families strong. The old Catholic families understood something we've lost. They knew that December required spiritual preparation, not just material preparation. While we're out shopping and decorating, they were consecrating their homes, protecting their families, creating an atmosphere where grace could actually settle in and stay. When was the last time you walked into a home and immediately felt peace? Not just comfort, but actual peace. That deep sense that everything is protected, that God's presence is real in that space. That's what the old families had. They blessed their doors. They consecrated their rooms. They called upon the saints with gestures that might seem small to us now, but carried enormous spiritual weight. Padre Pio used to say that our homes are like fortresses, and every fortress needs protection, but we've become so modern, so rational, that we've forgotten about the invisible battle happening around us. We see the arguments, the stress, the sleepless nights, the unexplained anxieties, and we think it's just life. But Padre Pio would shake his head at that. He'd tell us that when a home isn't spiritually protected, it becomes a playground for disturbance, not because God abandons us, but because we've stopped using the weapons he gave us. And one of the most powerful weapons, one that sits forgotten in the back of most Catholic homes, is holy water. Water that's been blessed, consecrated, transformed into something that carries heaven's authority. Padre Pio called it a shield, an armor, a breath of peace that transforms the environment wherever it touches. He insisted that holy water, used with faith during December, becomes a spiritual force field around your home. Something that makes the shadows back away, that breaks chains you can't even see, that invites God's light to fill every corner. The two sacred dates of December, the 8th and the 25th, they amplify everything. They're like spiritual doorways that swing wide open. When you combine the power of those dates with the consistent use of holy water throughout the month, you're not just decorating your home for Christmas. You're actually preparing it to receive extraordinary graces. You're creating an environment where miracles feel natural, where peace isn't just a wish, but a living reality. Now, many people who've started honoring December the way Padre Pio taught have found themselves drawn to deepen their prayer life even more. The rosary was Padre Pio's greatest weapon, and it can be yours too. That's why we've created something special, the ebook, The Power of the Rosary with Padre Pio, Miracles, Protection, and Divine Graces. This spiritual treasure will help you learn to pray the hour, understand Padre Pio's most impactful teachings about prayer, receive a 30-day prayer guide with daily intentions to strengthen your faith, and access special prayers for protection, healing, and deliverance. The Rosary was Padre Pio's great weapon, and today it can be yours too. Don't miss this opportunity to strengthen your spiritual life. To download it, just click the link pinned in the comments. But let's get to those 3 powerful ways to use holy water that Padre Pio taught. The first one is something you can start doing tonight. The first way is to bless your front door several times a week. You might be wondering, why the door? Padre Pio used to repeat this. The protection of the home begins at the door. Your door is where everything enters. People walk through it. Yes, but so do words, intentions, energies, influences. Some visible, some invisible. Every conversation you had outside, every stress from work, every worry from the world, it all comes through that doorway with you. The old families understood this instinctively. Before stepping into their homes, they'd pause at the threshold, they'd make the sign of the cross, they'd whisper a prayer, acknowledging that they were crossing from one world into another, from the chaos outside into the sanctuary inside. But we've lost that awareness. We rush in, we rush out, and we never stop to consider what we're allowing to enter alongside us. Padre Pio taught a simple but powerful practice. Take a little holy water on your fingers, just a few drops. Stand at your front door, whether from inside or outside doesn't matter. Make the sign of the cross over the entrance, tracing it in the air or gently on the door itself, and say with faith, Jesus, may your light be the guardian of this home throughout all of December. That's it. No complicated ritual. Just a moment of intention, a gesture of protection, a declaration that this home belongs to God. What happens when you do this? Padre Pio said that when a home consecrates its door, no shadow can enter, even if it tries. It's like putting up a spiritual barrier that filters everything. Good things, blessings, grace, they flow in freely, but disturbance, heaviness, anything that doesn't come from God, it hits that barrier and can't get through. You won't see it with your physical eyes. You won't hear a sound or see a flash of light, but you'll feel it. Over days and weeks, you'll notice your home feels different, lighter, calmer, like something's been lifted. I remember hearing about a woman who started this practice a few years ago. She'd been dealing with constant arguments in her home, tension that appeared out of nowhere. Someone told her about Padre Pio's teaching, and she figured, why not? She started blessing her door every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Within 2 weeks, she noticed the difference. The arguments didn't stop completely, but they lost their edge. Conversations that used to explode into fights now just fizzled out. Her teenage son, who'd been so withdrawn, started talking to her again. She couldn't explain it rationally, but she knew something had shifted. That's the thing about holy water. It works in hidden places, places we can't see or measure. Padre Pio used to say it's like medicine for the soul's environment. You don't see the healing happening, but you feel yourself getting better. Do this throughout December. Bless your door at least 3 times a week, more if you feel called to. Let every entrance into your home be guarded by the light of Jesus. But protecting the door is only the beginning. The second way goes deeper, into the very rooms where you live, sleep, and breathe. The second way is to sprinkle holy water inside your home, especially in the places where you sleep, where your family gathers, and where tensions tend to show up. This isn't about soaking your floors. It's about intentional drops placed with purpose in the spaces that need spiritual cleansing the most. Here's what most people don't realize. Rooms hold memory, not just in our minds, but in the atmosphere itself. That bedroom where you've been losing sleep for weeks, it's absorbed all that restlessness. That living room where the same argument keeps happening, the tension has settled in like dust. Even that corner nobody really goes to, the one that always feels cold or uncomfortable, there's a reason it feels that way. Padre Pio understood this deeply. He knew that our homes are living spaces, not just physical structures. When heaviness builds up, when spiritual clutter accumulates, it affects everything. Your mood, your relationships, your sleep, your peace. He'd tell people that just like you clean your house physically, you need to clean it spiritually too. And holy water is the tool for that deeper cleaning. Here's what you do. Take your holy water and walk slowly through your home. Don't rush. This isn't a chore to check off. Do it in silence, with calm, letting each drop fall like it's a seed of peace being planted. Start in your bedroom. Sprinkle a few drops near your bed, maybe on the doorway, letting the water bless the space where you rest. As you do this, say quietly, Lord, may your peace and your light dwell in this place. Move to the rooms where your family spends time together, the kitchen, the living room, wherever conversations happen. Bless those spaces too. And don't skip the places where tension lives. You know which rooms those are. Maybe it's the hallway where arguments start, or that spare room that just feels off. Those places especially need this blessing. Padre Pio explained that holy water breaks invisible chains. It cleanses the spiritual environment and expels everything that doesn't come from God. It's like opening windows in a stuffy room, letting fresh air rush in and push out everything stale and heavy. What you're doing when you walk through your home like this is reclaiming it. You're declaring that this space belongs to God, that His presence is welcome here, that anything else needs to leave. Bit by bit, drop by drop, the atmosphere changes. You might not notice it immediately, but over days you'll start to feel it. That room that always felt uncomfortable, it doesn't anymore. That corner where your kids didn't want to play, suddenly it's their favorite spot. The air itself feels cleaner, lighter, easier to breathe. That's what holy water does. It doesn't erase reality, but it transforms the atmosphere around reality. And the third way Padre Pio taught takes that protection one step further, wrapping it around you personally. The third way is to make the sign of the cross on yourself with holy water every single day of the month. This one's personal. It's not about your home or your rooms anymore. It's about you, your soul, your mind, your body, the spiritual armor you carry when you leave the house, when you face the world, when you walk into situations you can't control. December's beautiful, but it's also exhausting. The rush, the expectations, the pressure to make everything perfect, family gatherings that bring up old wounds, financial stress from trying to give everyone the right gifts, the loneliness that hits harder when everyone else seems so happy, and underneath all that, there's the spiritual battle that never stops. Temptations that feel stronger, doubts that creep in, attacks on your peace that come from places you can't even identify. That's why Padre Pio insisted on this daily blessing. He'd say that a Catholic who blesses themselves every day becomes stronger against temptation, more sensitive to grace, and more protected against spiritual attacks. It's like putting on invisible armor before you step into battle. And make no mistake, life is a battle, especially in December. Here's how simple it is. Keep holy water somewhere you'll see it every day, by your bedside, near the bathroom sink, by the front door. When you wake up in the morning, touch the water with your thumb. Trace the sign of the cross on your forehead, slowly, with intention, and say, "My Jesus, cover me with your light this December." 10 seconds, maybe less. But those 10 seconds set the tone for your entire day. You can do it before bed too, as a way of closing the day under God's protection, or right before you leave the house, as a final blessing before facing whatever's out there. Padre Pio didn't care about the exact timing. He cared about the consistency, every day without fail. Because protection isn't a one-time thing. It's a daily choice, a daily renewal, a daily yes to God's grace. And here's what happens when you make this a habit. First, you become stronger against temptation. That pattern you can't seem to break. It starts to lose its grip. Not because you suddenly have superhuman willpower, but because you're covered in grace. Second, you become more sensitive to God's voice. Those little nudges, those quiet whispers of guidance, you start noticing them more. Third, you're protected against spiritual attacks. Those random waves of anxiety, those dark thoughts that come out of nowhere, those moments when everything feels heavy for no reason, they bounce off you more easily. This isn't superstition. This isn't magical thinking. It's using the sacramental that the Church has given us. The same way the Church intended. Holy water was blessed for this exact purpose, to sanctify and protect. And Padre Pio, who knew the power of these simple gestures better than most, insisted that this small, daily act opens the door for massive graces. But these 3 practices become even more powerful when you connect them to the 2 most sacred dates of December. And that's where everything comes together. Padre Pio taught that these 3 practices with holy water work powerfully on their own, but when you combine them with honoring the 2 sacred dates of December, something extraordinary happens. You're not just protecting your home anymore. You're actually inviting heaven to take up residence there. You're opening doors that most people don't even know exist. December 8th, the Immaculate Conception. This is the day when Mary's purity shines with special strength over everyone who calls on her. Padre Pio had deep devotion to this feast. He'd say that Mary, conceived without sin, is our model of how to live in a world that's broken. She's proof that God can create something perfectly beautiful even in the middle of darkness. And on this day, especially, she's listening. She's close. She's ready to cover your home with her protection. So don't let December 8th pass by like it's just another day. Do something to honor it. Pray an Ave Maria from your heart. Light a candle. Place flowers near an image of Mary if you have one. Do an act of kindness that reflects her purity and love, even just pausing for 5 minutes in silence, acknowledging who she is and asking for her intercession. Padre Pio promised that those who honor Mary on this day receive her special protection, not just for December, but for the whole year ahead. And then comes December 25th, the birth of Jesus, the moment God became small, vulnerable, human. The most sacred celebration of our entire faith. Padre Pio used to say that the way you receive Christmas determines the spiritual atmosphere of your next year. If you receive it with humility and love, you're setting yourself up for a year of grace. So when December 25th arrives, receive the baby Jesus with real devotion, not just through presents and dinner, but through your heart. Dedicate a moment of silence, a moment of real gratitude, a moment of surrender where you say, Jesus, I give you this next year. I give you my life, my family, my struggles, my dreams. Padre Pio insisted that whoever honors this day with true devotion receives protection that extends through the coming year. It's like planting a seed of grace that keeps growing long after December ends. When you weave these 2 dates together with the daily practice of blessing your door, consecrating your home and protecting yourself with holy water, you're not just going through December, you're transforming it. You're making it what it was always meant to be, a month of light, of victory, of deep spiritual renewal, a month when your home becomes a fortress of peace and your soul becomes a dwelling place for God's presence. This is what the old families knew. This is what we've forgotten, but thanks to Padre Pio's teaching, we can remember again. We can reclaim what was lost. And we can walk through December with confidence, knowing we're covered, protected, and held by heaven itself. Let's bring this all together. 3 simple ways to use holy water throughout December. First, bless your front door several times a week, declaring that Jesus is the guardian of your home. Second, walk through your house with calm and intention, sprinkling holy water in the places where you sleep, gather, and struggle, letting each drop be a seed of peace. Third, make the sign of the cross on yourself every single day, covering yourself with God's light before facing whatever comes your way. These aren't complicated rituals. They're not reserved for priests or saints. They're for you, for ordinary people living ordinary lives who want something extraordinary, real peace, real protection, real presence of God in their homes. Padre Pio lived these practices. He taught them to everyone who would listen. And he made a promise that should give us all confidence. Where holy water touches, the shadow retreats. Think about that. Where holy water touches, the shadow retreats. Not maybe, not sometimes. It retreats every single time. Because darkness can't stand against the light. Confusion can't survive in the presence of clarity. Heaviness has to lift when grace shows up. That's what you're inviting in when you use holy water with faith. You're not just going through religious motions. You're wielding a weapon that heaven itself has blessed. So keep it near you throughout this entire month. Let it be the first thing you reach for in the morning and the last thing you touch at night. Let it transform your home from a place where you just live into a place where God actually dwells. And watch what happens. Watch how December, instead of draining you, renews you. Watch how peace settles where chaos used to reign. Watch how your family, your relationships, your very soul begins to breathe easier. Now close your eyes for just a moment and repeat this prayer with me. Lord Jesus, I consecrate this month of December to your light. Bless my home, my paths, and my entire family. May the power of holy water protect me. May your peace remain here, and may Mary Immaculate and the baby Jesus fill my house with grace. Padre Pio, intercede for us. Amen. If this message touched your heart, write in the comments, may the light of Jesus protect my home this December. Your words matter. They're declarations of faith that help this message reach more people who desperately need to hear it. And share this video with someone who needs peace and protection during this sacred month. Someone who's struggling. Someone whose home feels heavy. Someone who's forgotten that simple practices can carry extraordinary power. Be the one who reminds them that December doesn't have to be exhausting. It can be transforming. You know, there's something beautiful happening here in this community. We're not just watching videos, we're actually part of something bigger, something that matters. We're keeping alive the wisdom that our ancestors knew, the teachings that saints like Padre Pio fought to preserve, the simple practices that have the power to change lives and protect families. But here's the truth, we can't do this alone. This mission of spreading faith, of reminding people that God's protection is real and available, of bringing Padre Pio's teachings to everyone who needs them, it only works if we're all in this together. Every like you leave tells the algorithm that this message matters. Every share you make could be the exact moment someone discovers the peace they've been searching for. Every time you become a member of this channel, you're directly supporting our ability to create more content, to dig deeper into these teachings, to keep this spiritual community growing. Think about it. Somewhere right now, there's a person sitting in their home feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, unprotected. They don't know about holy water. They've never heard Padre Pio's wisdom on spiritual protection. They're scrolling through their phone looking for answers, and your simple action of liking or sharing this video could be what puts it in front of their eyes. You could be the reason their December transforms from chaos into peace. So if this message spoke to your heart, if you felt something shift while watching, don't just keep it to yourself. Hit that like button right now. Share this video with your family, your friends, your prayer groups. And if you really want to be part of this mission, consider becoming a member. Your support means we can keep bringing Padre Pio's teachings to the world, one video at a time, one soul at a time. Together, we're building something that lasts. Together, we're spreading light in a world that desperately needs it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. And may God bless you abundantly this December and always.